Hey guys, it's Ted Graveline with the video tip of the day. So today what I wanted to talk about is something that came up yesterday while I was in with clients on a group coaching call. We do a group call at least once a week, usually every once a week, and we do a video chat. And so this guy asked a question, actually made a statement and it became a question, and it was kind of along the lines of, hey, I'm so busy now doing everything I'm trying to do and juggle, and how am I going to find time to grow my business and that, because I think back a year, I had a couple of guys and I was manageable, and now I've got 4 or 5 people and it's becoming unwieldy. And so the answer to that question lies in the org chart behind me. It's a sample org chart of what it might look like for a lot of companies, and you can have more boxes or less boxes depending on the size of your business. But the bottom line is that if a one-person company has the same boxes, the difference is that a one-person company has one name in all of the boxes. Sometimes you're the CSR answering your phone. Sometimes you're a service tech. Sometimes you're an installer. Sometimes you're a comfort advisor selling a job. You're doing estimates. You're doing all those jobs if you're a one-person company. And as you grow, the idea is to get your name out of those boxes and put people in those jobs, right? So, and eventually the only jobs you should have left are the ones at the top, like general manager or CEO or some combination of that should be the only jobs you're still doing if you're the owner. And that's the path you want to take. And obviously most of us do, or else we wouldn't be owners, right? So in the end, the trick is to be able to get these jobs out of your thing and move up. The problem that this guy was having was that he had sort of given those jobs away, but not really. He was still kind of doing them. I mean, as we were speaking on the video chat yesterday, he was on his phone using it for the video chat because he was driving to a call to be a service tech to run a call. And so no wonder he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and he's still kind of hanging on to some of these jobs down in the lower end of the organizational chart here, because his name was in those boxes in the first place, and he's still kind of doing it. The biggest trick is to be able to get rid of those jobs so that you're not doing them anymore. And see a lot of that. I see a lot of people like one foot on the dock, one foot on the boat, and they don't really know which way to go. You gotta make sure that you're getting people that can do those so that you're not doing them, and you don't feel like you need to be looking over their shoulder, and you don't feel like you need to step in and that kind of thing. So the less you can step in, then the more effective you're going to be as a leader moving up the chain. So how do you do it? Well, most of us start businesses, and we're actually pretty good at these jobs in the bottom. That's why we think we know the industry. Hey, we were a really good service tech. We could really sell like crazy, or we were really good installers, something like that, or some combination of that, and said, I'm going to start my business now because if I can sell and I can install and I can service, man, I know this industry. Well, you know that part of it. For most of us, though, and this me included, this is no knock on anybody, they don't teach you the stuff as you move up when you're learning to be a service tech or an installer or whatever in this business. You don't learn to do hiring and training and planning and marketing and stuff like that. You don't learn to run your numbers and your accounting and all that stuff. So as you move up the ladder, those are the skills you need to learn how to do, and you need to learn how to train people in the ones that are down here, and that becomes the real issue. As you move up the ladder, you're trying to get rid of your name out of these boxes, put people in them, and what a lot of people do is they're looking for a guy that they can hire. You see these ads all the time. I need 5 years experience. I need, this qualification, that qualification, and all these things. And it's really, really difficult to find a lot of people like that. So I want you to use your imagination for a minute, because this was the conversation we ended up having to solve this problem yesterday. Imagine your company with 100 people in it. There is no way in hell that you are going to be looking over your shoulder watching what 100 people are doing every day. You're just not going to be able to do it. And you're not going to find 100 of them who are as good as you at doing that on their own, just inherently right off the street. You're just not going to find that. You're not going to find enough of them. You might get lucky and find one once in a while, but that's no way to run a railroad. I mean, you're going to have to be able to have a way to do it on purpose. So what's the on purpose procedure? Hiring, training, okay? And you can't do one without the other. A lot of times what we're trying to do is, I'm just trying to hire and find a guy, stick him in there, and then hope he's good. Well, no, you got to train him. And even if they have experience, and sometimes it's actually worse if they have experience because they have all these preconceptions about how they want to do it. But you've got to do it your way. And your training program is going to be where it's going to be. And so your job, if you're in these top boxes on your org chart, your job is hiring about 1/3 of your time. So you're going to spend like 15 hours a week just on the hiring process for finding people. And it's going to be all the time for the rest of your life, every week. And then you're going to spend at least that much time training them so that they're doing what you want them to do. You don't just hire them, say, here you go, here's keys to a truck, go service air conditioners. They don't know what they're doing. Even if they're really experienced, they don't know how your admin works, they don't know what your paperwork is like, they don't know how to use your software, they don't know how to deal with your customers in the way that you promise things to people, they don't know what your offers are, they don't know how to necessarily do installs or service the way you want it done. So it's not good enough to just hire them and turn them loose. You're going to have to train them, and you're going to have to do it all the time. And it's not good enough to say, well, we learned how to do that once and we're good. So think of every single elite organization you can think of out there. Every sports team that's really, really at the top of their game for more than a one lucky season. The teams that have dynasties, the Yankees and the Patriots, whether we like them or not, they're around a lot. They weren't good this year, but, they're going to be around for a while because they have a process of bringing people in at the low levels through the draft and through grading free agents and all the things they're going to do as they hire them into the system. They hire the rookies that don't know what they're doing, and they train them in their own culture and bring them up through the system. That's how they do it, and it's how they maintain being elite status for a very long time. One of my big examples I use all the time is like Navy SEALs. They do this all the time. They start with a couple of hundred guys, and then they weed out all the ones who don't fit their culture. Hey, look, you don't really want to be here bad enough. Guess you're gone. And then they're stuck with the ones that they want, and none of them know how to do Navy SEAL stuff when they start. They're all like 19-year-old high school kids, right? But they train the crap out of these guys till they're really, really good at what they do, and they're good at it because they really want to be there. So that's hiring people who really want your culture, okay? And then train the crap out of them so that they're doing what you want them to do. If you're as good of a service tech as you say you are, then you ought to be able to tell people how to do it the way you want to do it, and then set procedures and processes in place, which is the things we work with every day, so that you can backstop that. Like, well, how do you double check they're doing it good? Well, you got to have ways to do that. You got to stick things in like inspection reports or other things. You got to figure out why they're not doing it the way you want to do it. Bottom line is this. I say this all the time, and I wrote it on the board. Act like the company you want to be, not the one you are. It's a really big deal to do that. Start acting like you're moving up the chain. The reason why you're staying stressed is you're still trying to do these lower level jobs, and you're not letting go of those, and you're not learning the ones over here. So then we come around to one of the problems we end up with is, imagine you had a 100-person company, and you've hired these people, and then the slow season hits and things like that. Well, the slow season's coming. It's come every year for the last 100 years. It's always slow at a certain time in your market, depending on where you're at. It could be the spring and the fall, it could be the winter, it could be the summer. Well, depending on where you are, there's some season that's not busy, and you know it. You know it's coming. So you need to have a marketing plan, and you need to know how to execute that plan. It's okay to hire help for it. Like, I don't know how to code a website. Great, I want to code a website. But the guys who code websites are computer nerds. They're not good at marketing. They can't write ad content and ad copy and come up with offers and come up with what your company's all about. All they do is put bits and bytes onto a screen and make it show up on the internet. Well, so what? You can hire a company to do that part for you, but you have to do the rest of it. You have to know the big picture. You've got to be the one driving the marketing so that you know what's going on, and you got to be the one planning for all of that stuff. You got to be planning your pricing, know your numbers, and all that. Those things. And if you're not good at those things, you got to get good. So the trick is this: as you're getting better, and this is where this guy yesterday was stuck in this dilemma. He was trying to get good at these things and spend his time learning them because he knew he needed to. We were working together to get there. He was not quite letting go of these jobs down here, so he was still trying to do both things. He's trying to do this and that. Of course he got busier than he was last year. That was never the point. The point is, train these people really, really well, and then let it go. Like the Disney Frozen movie that my little daughter likes. Let it go, whatever. Let that stuff go. You got to get over it and then move up Start doing this stuff up here that you don't know how to do, because those are the real jobs of a CEO, GM, and move yourself to those places. If you need help, get help, because it's really, really tough to learn the things up here that you don't know on your own. And sometimes it's the motivation to get you to let go of some of these jobs you shouldn't be doing. Again, remember, act like the company you want, not the one you are. Really big deal. That's the tip of the day, and we'll talk soon.